Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Fuck this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. 1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly, cause it's not professional. But I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh.
Episode 377. I don't know why it says 76 in Trello. Somebody messed up. I would assume it's me because I'm the one that does it. Of the PHPUgly podcast, a podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language, PHP development, PHP community, and as well as our company, PHP Architect. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
Well, hello, Mr. Eric Van Johnson. How are you today?
Hello. If this is your
Fancy
first time
meeting
joining
you
us,
it is my first time.
you can be part of the show by popping into our Discord at discord.phpugly.com. You can suggest show titles. You can communicate with all the cool people in there who are in there all week long. It's a great place to be, great community, and honestly, a great bunch of people. I got to be honest with you, probably my new circle of friends. Although it's more like a pyramid. I don't know. I have to keep giving money to people for them to like me. The show's made a little better thanks to some sponsorship, honeybadger.io, as well as PHP Architect, and our wonderful supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/PHPUgly. We're going to talk about all that a little later, but for now, let's get on with the show. I think I talked about everything.
Well, how would people join us in Discord if they wanted to?
I did say discord.phpugly.com, but we'll say it again.
Let's say it again.
So nice, we'll say it twice.
There you go.
Oh, how you doing, Congdon?
Oh, I'm doing good. Been a busy week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it has. Big countdown is on its way. We're almost to 30 days to tech. We're at 32 days right now. 32 days and 15 hours to PHP Tech.
So if you don't have your ticket yet, what are you waiting for? Get it now.
Well, it's probably too late. We're probably sold out. But you know,
yeah, you're right. Here, I'll go and add 1 or 2 tickets right now.
All right, go ahead and add a couple tickets. Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. That's a problem we have.
Yeah, just keep adding them.
We had to extend the room block again, which I didn't think we were going to have to do.
We
I
did.
don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I guess
Uh,
it's a good thing.
Yeah. So I was working on an email to send out to everyone that has bought a ticket already. Haven't It's shared with you, but I haven't actually told you to go look at it yet because I'm still kind of working on it. But the one thing I wanted to point out was this year, if you get a room through our PHP Tech block of rooms at the Marriott, breakfast is included. You get access to their breakfast buffet, which I think they charge $18 or $20 for.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yeah. But if you're staying in our room block, you get it. If you booked with the Marriott and you're not sure if you're in our room block, email me and I can find out pretty easily if you are not.
Ralok, why do you say unfortunately? Are you not in our room block?
Gotten an unfortunately email today?
Got
What does that mean?
Unfortunately, I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, I'm hoping it's not an unfortunately we have to let you go type of email.
You
That would
know,
be a bad email
it's
to
one of those
receive.
things. Like if your boss realizes you've been listening to PHPUgly, we cannot be legally held responsible.
You're listening at your own risk right now. That's all I can say. So yeah, if you are booked and you want to know if you're in our room block, email me. I will let you know. I will confirm with you. But
Yeah.
speaking of booking, somebody reached out to me with an interesting problem with booking within our room block.
Oh, I
And
thought we were going to slide in the code. I'm like, dude, that was your smoothest transition ever. Go ahead.
I would love to, but I don't know what you're talking about. So they reached out saying, "Hey, I'm having trouble booking a room." And then before I saw the email and was able to respond, they figured it out on their own. And I don't know if it's still an issue or what, but if you are logged into your Marriott.com account and then try to click on the book now link on our website, it just doesn't work.
I saw you email them about that. I'm like, wait, that makes no sort of sense. How is that possible?
That's what they figured out because they tried to book, got an error. They went into incognito mode. It worked fine. And then they went back and like, wait, what if I log out of my Marriott.com account? Yep, it works. So there's some sort of like block there. And if you click the book now and then log in, it works fine. But if you're already logged in, it doesn't. Very confusing.
That is weird.
Somebody didn't write a proper test case.
That's one of those very rare edge cases when somebody's logged in before they start booking. Nobody tested for that.
Well, it's like I'm wondering if it's a nefarious type of thing where somebody like the Marriott, maybe not them, was like, if they're already logged in, we want them booking through us, not through their room block, right? So they have to pay a little bit more, or whatever the case may be. Again, I don't know if that's really what's happening, but I think like a bad person, and that's maybe what I do. I'm like, oh, their site's broken. Just book direct with us.
Yeah, that was the thing back in the day. I had somebody I knew of, a distant acquaintance, made a buttload of money by like hijacking cookies for Amazon orders and eBay orders, where they'd put their affiliate information in there, and got caught. Technically, their whole position, basically, when they went to court, was it's not illegal. Like nobody said, and this was when everything was new. It was like nobody said you couldn't do that, and I mean they were kind of right. We're kind of making up the rules as we went along, but that didn't stop them from prosecuting. So don't do bad things.
Well, I'm happy I was never prosecuted because I did some bad things.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What's the baddest thing you did?
The worst online thing was probably shopping on a store where when you could edit the HTML page to change the price of a product and get it for free.
You're that guy? You're that guy, huh?
So I did that, got some free products. I didn't like overly abuse it, but I definitely did order a couple of things and then tried to share it with other people.
Mhm.
They fixed that where you couldn't change the price of products anymore, but they didn't change the shipping. So you could buy a product and then go make the shipping negative $100 and still get products for free.
Okay, you might have shared too much there.
I mean, you're talking about 20 years ago, like
Yeah, I don't
back
know what
when.
the statute of limitation is on that, but if the FBI comes knocking on your door, I had nothing to do with this.
uh, they did find that one too and fix it, but not before shipping product out.
Man, I think the worst thing I did, again, you didn't even know it was wrong at the time, was I did a bunch of, when you had dial-up modems, I did a bunch of war dialing just to find computers, who was on the other side answering the computer. And I ended up one time in some, I don't know, some phone book system where like I got in and then I could ask for phone numbers and addresses to different places, and it started showing it to me, and it's like, hey, this is cool. But that was like the hackiest thing I ever did. That was outside a controlled lab area that I managed. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't even bad at the time.
The good old days of modems.
Kind of
So
miss that sound.
I just binge watched Young Sheldon, and there's a couple seasons there where
Great
he's,
show.
he got the Tandy from Radio Shack and had a modem, and then he's trying to imitate the sound of people. Like, I'm ahead of my time, or I'm living in the future, I think he said.
Yeah.
He made the noise, and they're like, "You mean a fax machine?"
Yeah, that's a good show. I think it's on its last season right now. So I thought we've talked in the past like how big of a Big Bang Theory people we are, and Young Sheldon is like the Sheldon Cooper character in Big Bang. It's his childhood, but they said as that series started that it was not um, canon because like if you watch the TV show, like Sheldon's dad is not a good person. But they sneak a lot of things in there that was referenced on the show. It's like, oh, that's cute how they worked that in.
And then the other characters from Big Bang make appearances in there, or
What?
voiceovers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I keep telling. I told the wife, I'm like, and no spoilers because obviously we don't know, but that's the way they should end that series. They should all end up somewhere together. Like all those kid characters should like end up in a Pizza Hut together or something where they don't know each other. They don't know they're about to have a future, but like as watchers of the show, oh, that's Raj, that's Howard, that's I thought that would be cool, but I'm curious how they're going to end the series.
So, are you saying that the current season is the last season? Because I just binged everything that's on Netflix, and I finished it last night.
The current season is the last season. Yeah. So you'll get all caught up. I assume Netflix is caught up to like last season, right?
I guess I think I did season 6, so I don't know if it was the last one or not.
I don't know. I don't know what season they're on. I just know this is their last season.
Gotcha.
All right, where are you at with coding? You do any coding this week?
I've done a bit of coding this week. I got caught up on that Firebase issue that I shared with you last week.
Mm-hmm.
Took a 17 gig Firebase database down to like 150 meg. Just massive cleanup.
A minor little optimization there. That's not bad.
Just tiny little bit. Coding wise, we're expanding a feature set on the application I'm working on, so I get to do all fresh, brand new code. It's been fun getting in there, working on APIs. I actually just sort of hacked the authentication system where instead of needing a username and password, you can also use a bearer token to log in. Just it was me wanting to be able to test the API endpoint I was working on, not through an API. It's going to be used from the website. It's not meant to be like a externally accessed API, but I wanted to test easily via Postman. Like, I wonder if I could just use a bearer token and have this work. And there's some downsides to doing that within this application specifically because it's so tied to the session and everything. But threw that in there, exchanged a bearer token for a user ID, had access to the system. I was happy. Now the question is it going to stay in there? I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I had to spin up one of the big code bases for one of my clients because some work I'm doing. And I'll be honest with you, this is like where like being the owner of the company has always benefited me because I have avoided this code base like the plague
as much as possible.
And it's like, yeah, whenever they're like, oh, hey, we want this new feature, I'm like, sounds like a separate service to me. Let me spin up another Laravel application. And yeah, I rode that way for a couple of years, but I kind of backed into a corner where it's a very old code. Well, parts of it are very old, and parts of it are very new. This is the one. If you're a longtime listener, we've kind of merged a Laravel application into an existing legacy code base, which works well enough. But yeah, I had to get in there and start digging around, which I'm like, oh man, I hate this code base. I hate this code base so bad. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Not too exciting though. Like, I haven't been doing anything exciting. I actually took a break from PHP Tech TV. Did a lot of coding on that for like a couple weeks, and then this past week I actually haven't touched it, but I need to touch it again. I need to figure out the stream flows again. Maybe update the landing page for the streams.
Yeah, we got to get all that done. We got to update the ATEMs and everything.
ATEMs, yeah.
We need a new little like sponsor ad page. Have that up and ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to buy more. Did you ever purchase the additional equipment for the fourth track?
Let's say yes, I did, and I will go do
works.
it now.
I'm fine with that.
No, my real issue is I got that cheaper camera, and I still want to set it up on a side-by-side test. I'm trying to figure out the distance I need to shoot from to kind of have some sort of A/B experience versus going and buying brand new those expensive cameras again.
I mean, I don't know what the benefit of doing a side by side would be because you know the one camera is like high quality, so just don't look at it side by side. Just look at it and say, yeah, that's good enough.
Well, they're both supposed to be 4K, so it can't be like that much better, can it?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
That's where I always got confused. I guess when it comes to color balancing and low light, I guess that's probably the biggest test I need.
Yeah,
is not having like studio lights on the people, but I think in reality, in our trailer, we have lights that we could set up. We just didn't do it last year.
Oh, the trailer, man, what so stressful. It's in the secret location bunker. Yeah, the secret bunker of PHP Architect, which John and I have not even seen the trailer since the last conference. So as far as we know, it could have been eaten by rats. We don't know. We're going to find out. Probably should have stored all that candy in there. That was probably my fault. But we'll see. We'll get it. We'll have to make it work one way or the other at this point. I think we've committed to this at this stage.
We chose good talkers. I think they can project their voice from front anyway.
Yeah. So this podcast, at least on my side, is being powered completely by the sun. I got my solar turned on this week. It turned on yesterday. Like around 10 o'clock in the morning, I had gotten permission the day before to turn it on, and then blah, blah, blah. But the cool thing about solar for me this house, is that I did the battery thing. So not only did it run off of the panels all day long, but the batteries carried the house through the night. And so by the next morning, batteries are down to about 35%. The sun comes out and starts charging everything back up and starts running everything. So went 24 hours completely off the grid, which was really
That's
cool.
awesome. The
Yeah.
fact that you still have 35% left, I mean, that's great.
Yeah, I cheated a little bit, and I'm going to cheat again tonight because I'm trying to optimize things. I do have a pool, and the pool pump ran until about 9 o'clock at night, which chewed up a bunch of power. So I'll probably shut that off today just to see what difference it makes. But yeah, I'm happy with it. The cool thing
What do
about
you
it,
mean turn it off today? You mean during the day or turn it off at night?
turn it off at night. So when the sun goes
Gotcha.
down, so the pump runs for 12 hours. So it kicks on about 9 o'clock in the morning and then kicks off at about 9 o'clock at night. So I'll probably, and it doesn't need to, that's just how the timer's set on it. So I'll probably just shut it down around 6 o'clock and just to see how big of an impact it makes the next morning on the battery. But it's definitely, like, the house is definitely not going to last 2 or 3 days. Like, well, okay, the house might, I was told that the house could run off battery for 2 or 3 days, and maybe, like, if we were being very conservative about what we were running, basically keep the refrigerators on type of 2 or 3 days. It definitely is not going to run 2 or 3 days like normal use. But
Yeah.
the thing I like about this, and I don't know what software you have, John, because I know you have solar. But the software I have this time, so in Southern California, I assume this is the same everywhere, is any extra power you make, you can send back to the grid and get a credit for it. This is one of the reasons why I got the battery, right? So the battery actually battery fills up first, and then once the battery gets it to 100%, which is where it's at now, it gets to 100% about 1 o'clock. Then it'll start sending power back to the grid, which is fine. I'm cool with that. The whole concept is you're contributing back to the grid, you're making power available to other people, blah blah. Which is weird because, never mind. They here in California, they keep trying to pass laws to basically punish you for using solar. Like, they want to do this, like, a stipend you have to pay the power company and all this. It's weird. But with my previous system, I could never track what I was sending back to the power company. So I was kind of trusting, like, oh, okay, you tell me, you're gonna give me $100 credit. That's fine. I have to believe you. This new software, I actually see exactly what I'm sending back to the power company. So I'm like, cool. I know
Not
what I'm
in
sending to
dollars,
them.
though, right? You just know.
And wattage.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's where it gets confusing. Even with that information, I don't know if I'm getting the right credit, and I still get a bill every month, and I'm very confused on that because I thought it was you true up at the end of the year. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think
Yeah,
it's the
that's how
gas
we were.
part, like the monthly part is the natural gas usage,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, they don't give you credit for what they charge for it. Like, it's not a $1 for $1 exchange. They definitely pay you a lot less for what they charge for the electricity, which is
Yeah.
weird.
You got it turned on at like the perfect time. I mean, we just passed the equinox, right? So the days are getting
Mhm.
longer. So
Mhm.
you're going to have this expectation over the next 6 months of where you're at power wise. And then all of a sudden we're going to hit the next equinox and you're going to be like, wait, what just happened?
Well,
As you're producing less and less.
that's where I'm hoping the batteries will start to extend and get me through the longer nights. Well, I don't have a lot, so the concept being that we'll produce enough power to offset that bill when we actually do need to use power from the grid. We should have a big enough credit where we don't feel it. But We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It never works out that way. I tell you.
Nope.
So we got I saw TJ in there in our chat earlier. TJ and fucking Steve had a little AI image throwdown this week, which was
Battleathon.
awesome.
I was checking those out earlier.
Yeah. Our thumbnail for this show was actually one of TJ's. TJ sent me a few that he had created, and I'm like, hey man, I'm stealing these. I'm using these for thumbnails.
Actually, one of them you used in social media. I saw it go out, or Corey did. Saw it go out yesterday or the day before. Yeah. Those turned out great.
TJ's the AI master right now. He's working on some pretty exciting projects that I guess he's almost ready to release to the public.
I know. Every time I think about it, I feel bad for artists, right? Because there's this big backlash against AI art because of that. But I used it to generate the little logo for my baseball team. And one of my players last night said, "Here you go, coach. Here's a present." And he gave me this bag. And it's a t-shirt with our logo on it. And it's awesome. I can't wait to wear it at our next game.
Nice. Yes. A Hinkles. You know what? TJ, throw that link in our Discord. TJ is actually doing a talk for Laracon Worldwide meetup coming up. I do recommend anybody to go check it out and sign up for it. I don't think it costs anything. I signed up. It's just one of these things. Hey, do you want us to notify you when this is happening? I'm like, yeah.
Well, TJ, can you do it in 30 minutes? We have a 30-minute slot still open.
Oh, do we?
We do.
TJ Miller, let's go.
You were planning on driving to Chicago anyway. That's how you're going to earn your free ticket.
Here you go. Go to Chicago. Do a 30-minute talk for us, TJ. Let's go. I didn't realize we still had a 30-minute open.
We have one 30-minute slot still open.
Cool. Jake will be there, TJ. Got to tease him. Bring him out there. Convince him.
There you go. All right, let's take a minute and thank one of our sponsors here. I will actually. Where's that at? That's right there. We'll be right back. Too late.
At HoneyBadger.io for sponsoring this podcast. I looked for a long time for a monitoring tool that would work for me. Something that was going to be simple and get to the point. I needed clear, actionable intelligence on what I did wrong. Not walls of charts and reams of logs to tail. That's why I use HoneyBadger, the monitoring tool we always wanted. A tool that's there when you need it and gets out of your way when you don't, so that you can keep shipping. Know when critical errors occur and which customers are affected, respond instantly when your systems go down, improve the health of your systems over time, and fix problems before your customers can report them. HoneyBadger is the application health monitoring tool built for you, the developer who cares about a quality product and happy customers. Be the hero of your team and sign up for a free trial and start monitoring today at honeybadger.io. Setup takes as little as 5 minutes. See what you've been missing and fix it. Once again, that's honeybadger.io. Now let's get back to the show.
Thank you,
Honey Badger. Thank you, AI Eric.
I was going to say, we were talking about AI, so that was a perfect ad for after talking AI talk.
AI Eric. I gotta dig up AI Eric again. I don't remember what service I used for that, but yeah, AI Eric.
Dude, I was telling you,
operator.
I was telling you about some of my coding this week. I spent hours on this weird issue. So, PhoneBurner does phone calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a feature called Ring, which is basically if a call comes in, like let's say a contact is calling them, they can Ring call 5 numbers at once. Like there's 5 people on their team, first person to answer picks up, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is for inbound, not for them doing cold calls. This is somebody calling in. They want to reach somebody. The way that it works like it works well for what it was, but we also have recently introduced a soft phone into the application, so you can answer right there in your browser. Makes perfect sense, except for the way the way I worked with the team and built that. It's hijacking other events that are happening and saying, "Oh, we're calling this person's cell phone. Show it in the browser and let them answer it there." So basically, it's just hijack that call and you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Then somebody reported a problem. Well, if I don't include their phone number, I just want them to be able to answer it in the browser. That doesn't work. Sure, no problem. Sure, no problem. I'll make that happen. Make that work just fine. But then it added another wrinkle of if they do have their cell phone ringing and they accept it, then their phone just kept ringing. It was like every time I got
shit.
every time I got one step closer, something else happened.
Mm.
And then I'd solve that, and then I get one step. It's just like, this is killing me.
That's great.
So I spent hours with Tim Lytle talking through that issue and finally figured it out. Finally got it to a place where it works fine.
Man, I miss those features. If you don't know the history, so I'm on the Google Fi, Google Fi or whatever. Basically, it's what Google Voice was. I think Google Voice is still what they call it if you're not on the Google network.
Mhm.
But Google Voice is something they purchased, which was previously called Grand Central. That's how I ended up there. I was signed up with Grand Central. And Grand Central and Google Voice did this for a very short while after they acquired Grand Central, and then slowly started removing these features. But when it was Grand Central, kind of the same thing. So you got a phone number, which is actually the phone number I use as my primary number was my Grand Central number. And you got a phone number and you associated other phones with it. So I would have it ring my office, I worked at an office at that time. It would ring my office desk phone. It would ring my home phone when we had a landline. It would ring my cell phone. And you could also have it record your conversations. So whether you answered it or not, basically voicemail kicked in. So if you answered it, it would just start recording. It didn't tell anybody it was recording, which I'm sure was very illegal or whatever. But yeah, all that stuff's gone now. Now it's just like a regular phone. I don't think you can associate other numbers to it anymore. Maybe
in Google Voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, because I ended up porting away from that. I ended up in Google Voice very early on when it first came out, only because you could get a vanity number, and mine spells my name. So
does it?
Yeah,
everybody knows John's number now.
So I found an area code, and it happened to be in California, and then it spells my name, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Now everyone's like, when did you live in Orange County? I'm like, I don't. I never did. But it was fun because I lived in Florida still at the time. But I think at that point I knew I wanted to move to California. So having a California number now is nice because my wife still has a Florida area code.
Yeah.
Which, it's a crazy world now because you can move these numbers anywhere.
Yeah.
But when you get spam calls from some company, they think you're in Florida on the East Coast, so you're getting calls at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like, no. We're in California.
Yeah. Yeah, that also happens if you do too much shopping on Zillow. When we were looking for a house, something would happen that would trigger some sort of workflow. And initially, we were looking to move out of California. So we were looking back on the East Coast where I'm from. We were looking like in the Tennessee area, which got real close to moving to right between Nashville and Memphis. I think it was actually called Jackson or something. Is kind of what we started honing in on. Anyways, something would happen occasionally where a realtor would call from the East Coast at like 9 a.m. their time, which is 6 a.m. our time, wanting to talk to us about a house. I'm like, listen, you just lost this sale if you thought you had it, because I have zero interest in talking to you right now. That's one of the cool things about living on the West Coast is the entire country is up and moving before we are. So by the time we hit the ground running, like New York is at lunch.
Mhm.
I always feel like we're so far behind because of that. Like, I don't know how. I had a friend who did stocks here or in San Diego, and that was his normal day. He went into work at 3 a.m. and then I guess it was like an hour or two before the market opened, and he would just be there when the market opened. I'm like, that is absolutely insane to me.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got good news for you that I haven't shared with you yet.
Oh,
Did you know we can now legally use the TM with our logo?
I was going to ask you about that. So we got our trademark, huh?
Not the registered trademark. We've got
Oh.
the first step, which is it's trademarked. We've got the okay to use the logo. It's technically ours, but there's still now a process of going through lawyers and making sure that it's unique enough and that it's ours.
Mhm.
So it's still going to be a few months before we have a registered trademark. But I got the call yesterday. I was actually in a meeting, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I get a phone call. I'm like, this is weird. USPTO, what is that? I said, it sounds familiar. So I decided to answer it. And it's this guy like starting to go through things. And I'm like, wait, is this real? Calling from the US patent, whatever.
Mhm.
But, and then he asked for my credit card number at one point, and I really felt weird. But he had all of the correct information. So it did feel very legit. Like the actual
Oh.
logo, the
So
classes that
this
we
is
were
the
applying
new.
for.
Anybody wondering what we're talking about? This is the new PHP Architect logo with the elephant inside of it. We've trademarked it. Just as like a business thing. I mean, not that we're worried about people stealing or anything. Just good practice to do when you own property like that.
Mm-hmm. And actually, the way he kept saying you can now use the TM on your logo, I'm like, I think we were already in lots of places.
Yeah, I thought that was like the copyright thing. If you just put it on there, then you're kind of like copyrighted.
Right.
That's how you were.
I thought
use it.
I think I was always told the TM was okay, but the registered, like the little R with the circle, wasn't because it's not truly registered.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he was talking, that's not true.
Either way, we're good now.
At this point, we're good.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yep.
I actually have it. We need to mint it now. Now we can sell
There
it.
you go. Now we need new hats because that's just
We do need new
it's now
hats.
empty. It's missing something.
I know, you look like you work for Atmosphere.
Back in the day.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, man, I don't have a lot to talk about this week. I'm still kind of winding down from Scale last week.
How was that?
It was good. Oh, yeah, have we not talked since Scale? No, we haven't.
Not since you went there, no.
Oh, right, man. Shit.
I mean,
totally
you and I have
forgot.
talked. I'm just sharing.
Yeah. It went well. It just so if you don't know what we're talking about the Southern California Linux Expo, which is this long-running expo that happens in the LA area. It's been in Pasadena the past few years, and it's absolutely insane. I was talking to John about it this week. As somebody who puts on a conference, I struggle to get my head around this expo. So obviously the expo is focused on open source and community and sharing, but my God, is it big? Like there's like thousands of people there, like 2,000 or 3,000 people attend this thing. And their exhibit hall is massive. And you're talking like all the big names are there. AWS, Meta. I mean, everybody. It's so weird because you like have like maybe a couple aisles of all these big name companies. And then you have like just as many aisles of all these community efforts, like user groups and podcasts and all that. But man, there's just so many people. I don't know how many people they have working it. Like I had done my stuff before the conference, but I got a staff badge because of all the stuff I had done before the conference. So I could go in and basically go wherever I wanted to go, which I was telling John, like I was trying to find places that were off limits to people just so I could go in there. Be like that VIP thing.
You said you had people stopping you and checking your badge.
Yeah. Oh no, they check back. They have security all over the place. And oh man. So the expo halls are like in 2 locations. It's all within, like half a block from each other. But they take up like 2 locations, and right in the middle of those 2 locations is this big theater, which is where they film America's Got Talent. And I guess they were filming a show on it must have been Saturday is when they were filming it. So the conference ran from Thursday to Sunday. And you kind of saw them doing all the prep work on Friday. I'm like, man, I wonder if they're going to record here. They had all these like trailers out there moving stuff around. And then Saturday came around. And have you ever watched that show, America's Got Talent?
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. But it's a big deal. Like, I could not believe the people who were trying to get into this. And I guess it's like, I don't know if you can't buy tickets to it or if you show up, they have a certain amount of free tickets to give away. But there were just people there hoping to get tickets. And they were just like, I come around the corner from the hotel and I'm like, holy cow, the expo is popping today. Like, it was like Saturday. I'm like, it is popping, man. Look at all these people. And, of course, I finally get through. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I don't think they're all here to learn about Linux. I think they're here for something else. But yeah, it was fun. I have a hard time in this situations functioning myself. Like it might be hard to believe, but I'm not a social person. I don't like shy away from events. Like I'll go to events, but I don't particularly want to engage with people. I'm just not good at it. Tech is a very different experience for me because it's, I'm so involved with it. I'm so intimate with it. I know a lot of the people coming, a lot of the people speaking, but it's been a long time since I'd gone to a conference that I was not so embedded in the community. Like even Laracon, I have groups of people who I look forward to seeing at Laracon. So, I kind of have my little bubble of friends that I'll go there. And then occasionally somebody knows me from the podcast or something and will come up and say something. And even that is enough of an icebreaker for me to kind of lower my guard a little bit. But get me in a room with like 3,000 geeks and I just shut down. I'm like, I need to leave. I don't know any of these people and they don't know me. And I gotta go.
That's a true struggle. I mean, that's how I felt the first time I went to tech in 2010 was that same, like, it's not 3,000 people, but it's still intimidating, especially for most of us that are introverts. We're like, that's a lot of people. But once you get in there, it's so welcoming and people want to talk. And, you just kind of walk up to a group of people that are talking and they welcome you in, they finish their story, and then bring you up to speed or start talking about something else. It really is a welcoming experience.
Yeah. I have to admit, and obviously I'm biased to this, but tech seems like a real good sweet spot where it doesn't get so big that you lose track. Like it just feels like I go to tech even before I was involved with tech. I feel like I could go to tech and I feel like I could legitimately meet and talk to everybody. Like it didn't feel like overwhelming. Now I didn't, but I felt like I could. Especially like at lunch, right? You sit there, you really get an idea of how big it is at lunch, and all you have to do is go to different tables, and you'd meet a whole circle of people who are sitting there. And I didn't feel that way at this one. And that's not to knock the conference. I mean, you saw that happening at the conference. Like, you saw what I would assume are groups of friends who probably only meet at this expo every year, and this is their time to kind of get caught up with each other. So I definitely saw it happening. I just, like you said, I'm just not good in that situation. They had one night, I think it was Saturday night, the people I was working with, who I'd met a couple times online leading up to the conference, as we did our little touch bases on what we're working on. They wanted to meet up and see each other in real life, and I could not wait for that to be over. Like, not the fact that I was meeting them. I didn't know where they were going to be. They were like, "Hey, we're all going to be at game night, so let's meet up at game night and let's introduce ourselves." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't remember what these people look like. I don't know who they are. Like, I don't know where they're at." Fortunately, one of them walked up to me and like, "Hey, Eric, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they were like the big, I guess you can call it, say, my boss there. So yeah, I got to meet them, and then I dipped.
So don't listen to Eric's story. Come to Tech and have a blast.
Absolutely, come to Tech and come to Scale next year.
Actually, I found it easy. What I like doing is at lunch, sitting down at a table where I see somebody that's kind of quiet and reserved, and just sit down and like ask them, "Hey, what talks did you go to? Or what have you enjoyed so far?" Or I did that even prior to us organizing it, right? It would just be, I'd sit down at a table, and that's just the easy icebreaker of, at this point, you've been to a few talks. There's a way to start talking, and then it's like, "Oh, where do you work? What do you do? What projects are you working on?" But that just, "What talks have you gone to?" is a good icebreaker. And maybe they went to ones you didn't go to, and you can compare notes of what you liked, what you didn't like.
And honestly, if it's your first time, and I got to remember some of these talking points when we kick off the conference, but if it is your first time talking to or going to a conference, find people who've been there before, or find people who've been to PHP conferences before, because they will definitely give you the inside track of good speakers that you want to make sure, because there's always those speakers like, "Oh, you definitely want to make sure you catch this person's talk because they're usually really good." I actually got to run into 2 speakers at Scale. Dave Stokes, who's at Percona. Yeah, I ran into him. I ran into Dave everywhere. It's not a conference unless I ran into Dave. It's like weird if he's not there. Then I ran into Dwayne McDaniel, and it's funny because I ran into him. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's saying, "Nice to meet you." I'm like, "Hey, aren't you speaking at Tech this year, right?" Because I wasn't positive it was him. I'm like, "I'm pretty sure this is Dwayne, but I'm not positive." He like just gives me this blank stare. And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh shit, I thought you were Dwayne." He goes, "I am Dwayne." I'm like, "In April, aren't you speaking at PHP Tech?" He goes, "Security." Wait, April? Oh yeah. Like, oh, thank God. I hadn't realized I caught him right before he was giving his talk, and of course he was like focused on his security talk at Scale, so he was actually speaking at Scale. So he was like hyper focused on his talk, and like I was totally throwing him off because he's like, "What are you?" "I don't talk about tech. I talk about security." I was like, "No, I'm PHP Tech." And I had my PHP architect hat on at the time. I'm like, "Come on, man." But yeah, my heart dropped for a second. I'm like, "Wait, no? I thought you were going to be in Chicago in April."
Crap, I gotta go rework our schedule then.
I know. It's a real fear, man. You know it's gonna happen.
I'm sharing a link in Discord right now.
Do it.
Somebody shared with me this OpenAI robot, and I watched the video, and it's really cool. The way
like a physical robot?
Yeah, the way he represented it, like he was talking to us in Zoom, and then he was like, "How much would I pay for like a robot almost like a housekeeper type of robot to come put your dishes away, fold your laundry, and
Yes,
he was like,
100%.
he's like, I could see myself paying like 50 grand, over 5 or 10 years.
50 grand
And
over 5 or 10 years. Yeah.
like to pay basically have a full-time assistant that is can do chores around the house. But this is pretty cool. He talks to him, talks to the robot, asks questions, and there's that processing time and then a response. Right.
Which,
So right,
it's only going to get better, right? I mean,
right there, he had asked for something to eat, and the robot handed him the apple, and he's like, then he says, "Well, why did you hand me the apple?" And I was like, "That was the only edible thing in front of me."
Provide you with from the table.
oh, freaky. Oh, the voice is freaky. Why?
Great. So, based on the scene right now,
What's that?
If you back up just to before where you did that, he had said, "While you're throwing this trash away, can you explain why you gave me the apple?"
Let me hear.
Yeah, back up
On
just
it.
a little
So
bit
I
more.
gave you the apple
Okay.
because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Oh, it's so weird how it even does that edible item. It's the only edible item I could provide you with.
Yeah. So I
I
don't know. It was just interesting when he shared that with me. I was like, oh, I gotta share that in the show.
I'm telling you, man, AI. I was talking to John today. One of the I'm gonna go ahead and get our Patreon supporters going here as a thank you, since we got videos going. I was telling John today, one of the less glamorous parts of running a business is doing taxes, and we pay an accountant to do our business taxes, and we still have to review it, right? Because legally, we're still held accountable for those taxes. So John had asked me, well, he technically asked me last night, but I had missed it. So I saw it this morning he said, hey, can you take a review? Can you review the taxes and make sure you don't have any questions? And it's like 50 pages. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's a bunch of numbers here that look like they're dollars. Yeah, this looks like a tax form. And I was telling John, I'm like, this is where I need AI. I want to be able to load my tax stuff up to AI and say, okay, explain to me what's happening, and have it just say, okay, according to this, you're filing as a business, you're filing saying you made this much money and you had this many expenses. Because that's all I need to know. Like all the damn
50 pages of crap.
Yeah, like just tell me the TLDR here. What do I need to look at? So yeah, that was my response. Like, yeah, this looks like a tax form. I feel so stupid, man.
Me too. That's why we pay an accountant to handle it, right? I don't understand it. I look at just a handful of numbers, the K1, which tells us what we're responsible for in for our personal taxes, because it's a pass-through entity. Whatever the business makes, Eric and I split 50-50. So if we get an idea of what our quote-unquote income is going to be, I look at how much the business brought in, kind of total of expenses. You had seen the distributions, and you're like, wait, why are these numbers so different? And like,
Right.
It's a legitimate question, and those are the types of things that you need to be looking at. And that was a great find, and say, hey, why can you explain this discrepancy? When I've seen that in the past, I actually log in and start looking at the books. I'm like, oh yeah, I took extra distributions for these things, or Eric took extra distributions one year for the house. So there's that give and take over the years, and it's just kind of checking those out.
Right. Yeah. At some point, I need John to take enough distributions so I can do a hostile takeover of the company and still make him work for me.
It's probably close at this point.
That's my goal. Oh, man.
Hostile takeover. All you have to do is ask nicely, and I'll be like, it doesn't have to be hostile, damn it. You can be kind.
What's funny is there was a time initially, John knows this, but I'll share it with people. Like there was a time initially when we first had the business. This was when we were Diego Dev before we purchased a PHP Architect. That we would kind of track like what it would cost to buy out the other person, because we actually had to do that kind of we started with 3 people and we sort of bought them out but didn't really buy them out, sort of thing, because we weren't making money at the time. But we were like always, or at least I was always kind of tracking. It's like, okay, I could probably buy out the company for this much money or that much money. Now I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying the fucking company.
It's
No
too much
freaking
damn
way,
work.
man. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's no way, man. Oh, man.
Yeah. If Eric walked away, we just close up shop. I'm like, I'm done.
That says like whoever dies first, the other person, their only job is going to be just closing everything up, just making sure the lights are turned off, everything's canceled. Because I'm not doing it, and I think John could. John does most of the PHP architect like magazine stuff between him and his current wife. They do a lot of the
But
layout.
there's no,
and stuff.
but we couldn't make a living off of that. You do all the hard
No.
work and managing the rest of the business that actually makes money.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah,
You
it's
forget-
it's a
you
good
forget that part.
relationship we have going. Yeah. Oh, all right. I know John has a fairly hard stop today, so
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty quick to wrap this up. But I don't want to cut you off, John. Did you have anything on your Trello board? Because I don't think I got.
I moved my stuff over already. I've heard from at least 2 different people today that magazines are arriving. So I'm pretty sure we admitted it on the show. A little screw up with me and the printer. I kept screwing up the cover of the January issue. So every time I would send the file into our printer, they take like anywhere from 3 to 5 days, if not more, to
Yeah.
review it and then send us back, hey, here's either the issues or here's for approval. Every time that happens, it's about a week out. And there were like 3 or 4 mistakes. And it happened to be on their longer processing end. So by the
Yeah.
time January got ready to go, February was already ready to go. So if you're waiting on your print issue, January and February are coming together in the same box, and you should be getting them possibly today.
Which we learned we actually save on shipping. So I think moving forward, you'll get all your magazine on an annual schedule. Like you get the first 6 months, then the next 6 months. We're just going to package them all up and send them to you at the same time.
There you go.
That's how you do it.
And then and we'll just say for the past 5 months, the printer made a mistake.
We'll pump that into AI. AI, come up with some excuses why we didn't send out the print magazine. Supply chain issues. We should have been using that this whole time. Supply chain issues. Damn, we missed that boat.
Well, it truly was, only in the fact that they take so damn long to turn things around.
That's my dream, is owning that printing process. I've wanted to do that for even when we were Diego Dev, like we were working with a local person who did our shirts and stuff, like t-shirts, the print and the stitching. And I'm like, man, we can totally, like, I want to own this, but I want to own this process. And now I'm like the same way with the print. Like, I want to own that process. Like, I want to be able to print my magazines, my stickers, my conference material, and then have other conferences come to us for that stuff instead of going outside the community to try to find the best price. You come inside the community, but it's just like so much.
Well, when it comes to the magazine, that's a whole different ball of can of worms, and not to mention printing it is only half the battle. Then shipping out is the other half. Like, which is the
real expense, right?
And that's the real expense. They happen to have 3 locations. And I'm sorry, Europe, the tax thing, the customs and duties, we're just not equipped to handle it. And if you're receiving the magazine and having to pay extra customs, I wish I could do something. I think there's some forms I can file or something I can do. I just can't figure out what that is.
Yeah.
And
Discord, I apologize. I just realized I had to reboot my computer right before the show started, and I realized the links weren't going out, so they're going out now. Unfortunately, there weren't a lot of them. Didn't miss a whole bunch.
C Money, don't sit in the corner this time.
Yeah, see money. Let's go. Make sure, at the very least, make sure you walk up and say hello. I still do that. I did that at scale. I saw another podcaster that I watch, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to get my picture with this person. Like, first thing, they appreciate it. I think they appreciate it. I know I appreciate it. A couple times I've had it happen to me where somebody's like, hey, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. That's so cool. But yeah, so I went up to him. I'm like, hey, you mind if I get a picture with you? And they're like, yeah. So yeah, make sure you do that, man. Make sure you come up and say hi to people. For my Laravel people out there, I talked about Laravel Reverb last week. This week, there's a video on getting started with Laravel Reverb. If you're interested, didn't talk about it much because it's not really a world I'm super interested in. It's one of those like, this is good knowledge to have because I'm sure I'm going to have a use case for it at some point. So I want to remember, oh yeah, I remember seeing that, video. But yeah, I guess it's a cool thing. A lot of people are talking about it, so check it out. All right.
Cool.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. I got to go pick up my kid from drum class and get him to soccer practice and then leave that to go to a paragliding club meeting.
Is that your hard stop? Your paraglider club meeting?
No,
you haven't had a user group meeting in a year now. You're going to paraglider club meetings?
No, my hard stop is getting my kid from drums to soccer practice and then seeing some of his soccer practice. You missed that part.
Gotcha. Oh, Corey, don't get him started.
I haven't done it in like weeks, and I'm missing it and hoping I can climb up that mountain soon.
Yeah.
Stupid me.
That's going to do it for episode 377 of the PHPUgly podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm John. Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all, peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on.
All right.
So I shared my YouTube channel in Discord. And the first video in there, it was, I guess, my third flight I ever did. And I'm watching it. I'm like cringing a little bit. And then all of a sudden I see my wingtip just collapse on the left-hand side. I didn't realize it as I was going because it popped right back out. It was no big deal, but man, memories. The way it is. Oh man, what?
All right. I'll let you go, man. I know you got a bounce.
I do. We still meeting up tomorrow morning?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still going to be in the neighborhood, so I'll let you know when my appointment's over if you want to just meet me at storage.
Yeah, well, just give me an idea of when it starts, and then I'll probably just head that way and wait for you. Because it can't be that long, right?
No, it shouldn't be. I think it's at
Yeah.
9. I'll confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's at 9.
Sounds like a plan.
All right,
Thank you,
man.
everyone, for hanging with
Thanks
us.
everybody for hanging out. Bye.
Sorry, it's no longer